your binding, or is that more the protocol that we are setting for that particular time?
Paul's right, if we're gonna, we'd probably need to be repealed. Resolutions are generally policy in nature as opposed to an ordinance, which is more legal, or to have it be repealed.
Well, I understand the reasoning for having a line of succession that is based on seniority. I do feel that this particular council has the capability to fulfill the needs of those positions, especially when it comes to public safety. So I would actually entertain a motion to repeal the resolution calling for the seniority of the Public Safety Committee and opening it to any council member that would like to ask to be appointed.
Second.
Do you have good notes on that one, RJ? Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do we have any reference for what that resolution is so that we know exactly what we're repealing?
I don't recall that the resolution at all. Was it written, Paul, or was it just a motion?
It was a motion. It was when Mayor Sellers had an automobile accident and I was Mayor Pro Tem. I woke up the very first morning and thought, we don't have a public safety committee. What happens if something happens to me? And so at the next council meeting, I proposed a resolution which passed unanimously that we name the 3 most senior members to the Public Safety Committee. I would further point out that the line of succession is the mayor, and in the event of their incapacity or resignation, the Mayor Pro Tem. In the event of their incapacity or resignation, is the chair of the Public Safety Committee. By ordinance. This is all by ordinance now. And then also by ordinance, after that, the members of the Public Safety Committee in order of seniority.
But that's not part of the resolution, that's part of
No,
the...
that's
an
ordinance.
That's actual code.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's strictly a resolution that establishes the 3 most senior as being on the Public Safety Committee, and that's all that it happens.
Right. So that would be, with this motion that's on the table, that would be repealed, and anyone who is appointed, it would still go in line of seniority,
The ordinance.
but we would still be able to appoint someone who is newer to that position.
I don't mean to be a stickler for this, but the problem that I have with voting, and I'll be happy just to abstain from the vote with regards to repealing that resolution. The problem I have is that if I don't actually see what the resolution is, and if there's anything else that we're not really discussing right now, that I'd feel uncomfortable with repealing it. However, by all means, go ahead and
It
take
was
the
a
vote.
single subject.
Yeah.
Mhm. And if there's anything we do find that's additional that needs to be amended, I'm sure that we'd be able to bring that back the next meeting. But for this to get the ball rolling, to get these committees appointed, I think that would be appropriate for us to pass this resolution. So I'll withdraw from my, or not withdraw the.
Other discussion?
I certainly do agree with Councilmember Delavar, as that we have generally come to consensus in the past that we would like to see resolutions in writing before we deal with them. However, I do agree with Councilman Russell in this event that I think in the sake of expediency, that it would be acceptable for us to do this.
Other comments?
So what's exactly on the table right at the moment?
We've got a motion and a second to repeal the standing resolution that limits the Public Safety Committee members to the senior-most members of the council. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed. If I understand the Current item under consideration, the Public Safety Committee recommendation at this point would be council members Morris, Coaston, and Shoemaker.
Correct?
Do we need to nominate for that, or that's just that's your
It's
recommendation?
the mayor's
I
appointment
would certainly
at
go
this
with
point.
the recommendation that the council has and ask that you affirm that recommendation.
With all due respect, the code is that the appointments committee makes that decision, not the council as a whole. Washougal Municipal Code, Chapter 2. I think it's-
.04.050,
Okay.
paragraph 3. The appointment committee shall decide by a majority vote of its members the annual assignments of the members of the city council.
Okay. So I guess then my question would be on the information that was sent out, I have some recommendations, but there's nothing that makes actual appointments.
Correct. The appointments committee at this point is council members Coaston, McDaniel, and myself. And that piece was sent out soliciting people's comments, volunteer, recusal, decline, whatever. So any comments from anyone would certainly be considered by the appointments committee.
So I guess the proper motion in this regard would be to make a motion asking the committee, the appointment committee, to consider Dave Shoemaker as the third position. Would that be the appropriate?
Or the committee to bring back at the following council meeting their recommendation for this?
I don't think you actually even need a motion, we solicited any kind of recommendations or suggestions or whims,
Right, okay.
and we will certainly consider that.
Mr. Mayor, point of inquiry. So did the selection committee take votes then on the report, or was this simply suggestions amongst the committee?
We agreed to send out that report, but you will note that there are no appointments on there.
Okay.
Yes, if I may make a comment. Basically, we were trying to work with the council members to give them a choice. We made our recommendations, and we were hoping that we would get some feedback from our fellow council members, because they know their schedules and they know their commitments better than we do. And so that was basically that was starting the ball rolling, so to speak, hoping that we can get the feedback.
And I would offer, I'm not going to put this in the form of a motion, that we allow the balance of the council members to consider the different appointments and committees and to respond to the three of us as the appointments committee.
Absolutely.
We'll hold another meeting within the next week for recommendations and for voting for the committees. That would be my recommendation.
Yes, please, people volunteer.
My apologies for jumping the gun on this one. Somewhere along the way, I thought I had communicated that I was hopeful that we would have these appointments ready to go for this evening. Well, because I have a lot of things I'd like to put on these committees, and our next formal council meeting won't be until February, but it's okay. It's okay. That eliminates a couple of items off of here. I do have an appointment to the Planning Commission that I would ask your concurrence on, coming from the Community Development Department, appointing Mr. Henry Gearhart to the Open Planning Commission seat vacated by Councilmember Shoemaker.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second?
I should say I was part of an interview committee and interviewed him, and he was rated very highly. And so I'm thrilled to see him back to be on the commission.
Question, can you tell us something about Mr. Gerhardt?
Absolutely. Trying to see where to start here because I gave so many good bullet points. Mr. Gearhart was interviewed during the most recent call for planning commission